Hello again, everyone, and welcome back. This is another episode into my foray into the wilderness of 3D printed airplanes, and this is another one by my friend Lewis, Canadian buddy up in Canada, that's designing some great 3D printed models. Lewis's designs feature low print count, low part count rather, easy to assemble. Everything just kind of works. When you download the files from Lewis, you print out your airplanes, and this is what they look like. There you go. Now to give you an example of the magic of modern YouTubery, watch this. Bingo! It looks like this. This is Lewis's latest model, and he has a lot of them on his channel. Lewis has a Cults 3D channel called Gonzo the Great, and I'll put a link for that down in the description so you guys can find these models. This is his latest, or one of his latest. He's already designing more of little known World War II aircraft. The Boomerang was one. That was an Australian aircraft. This is a Fokker, a more well-known name, but this is not a well-known airplane. This is the D-21, an early World War II Fokker aircraft. And Lewis has designed this one in his normal way, which is 3 different sizes. You can pick a 600, 800, or I believe 1200 in this version. Some of them are 1100 millimeters, some of them are 12. I think the big one in this series is 1200 millimeters. This one is 800. And I've been doing the beta testing for the prints and the flights. And I'll put up a flight video in a bit, but this airplane here comes with landing gear in the files. Now, it's not on this particular model because I've just been testing the flight characteristics, which, by the way, we found that this is a relatively high aspect ratio wing. You can see flies beautifully. However, it is subject to tip stalls, which is what happened to beta number 1 of mine. Had a great flight. I mean, it was just handling wonderfully. Got it in for some slow passes, and was going to do a slow pass to get back into land, and tip stall. By the way, when one of these things crashes, man, it is spectacular. There are parts everywhere. I mean, it looks like you've just walked up to a miniature full-size aircraft crash. You keep expecting to see little miniature NTSB people show up in their black Suburbans. But anyway, I digress. That's the bad news. The good news is you've got the files. So you go home, you reprint them, and next week you're out with a brand new airplane. Try that with one of your $300 pre-builds. At any rate, we're going to do this for Lewis. We're going to do another prototype run and another set of videos in the air. But just to give you a quick rundown on some of the things that I have found with this particular model so far. These have a very short nose, as do a lot of radial-engined World War II aircraft. Short nose means tail heavy generally in any kind of modeling situation, whether it's foam or 3D printed, no matter what. You got to watch tail weight. In order to get this to balance, I just use a very simple trick in that the cowling, instead of being printed in lightweight PLA, which the entire rest of the airplane, except for the clear PLA cowl and greenhouse, this is all printed in lightweight PLA, except for the cowl. The cowl, I kept repeating the perimeters. Instead of 2 perimeters, I added 3. Instead of 3, I added 4. Instead of 4, I added 5. Got up to 6 with a 28-gram cowl. And that, along with the motor that I chose, which I'm going to talk about too, that along with the motor I chose and the 6-inch prop balanced the aircraft with an 800 milliamp hour 3-cell battery here in the front. Now talk about the motor. Lewis recommends a couple of motors for this. This is the small one, It's a very small 2205 2300 kV motor. These are motors normally associated with quads, and they're cheap. Usually you can get them in packs of 4, although 2 of them will be running the wrong direction or have the wrong direction thread on the shafts, but that's a workaround. But anyway, they're cheap. A mount for the larger motor and the small one will be included. The experiment was to see if it was going to be powerful enough with 800 3-cell and a 6-inch prop to fly the airplane. The answer to that is, whoa, yeah, it flies it great. After takeoff, this thing was cruising around all day with just half throttle, actually a little bit less than half throttle. So plenty of power on this small, cheap motor. The airplane itself, as I said, was a low parts count. It's cheap and easy to put together. So here we go. We're going to quit talking. I don't know why I used the imperial we there, but anyhow, I'm going to quit talking, and we'll go fly this thing and see what happens. Okay. Maybe a little more. Are you ready? That's got plenty of pull. Are you ready? Okay, guys, back for the finale. That was some just terrible, terrible video, and I apologize. That was my first go with a GoPro on a hat, and I didn't realize that I would also be holding up a camera right in front of the GoPro on the hat. I know, I know. Anyway, I promise I'll try to do better next time, and there will be a next time. Um, As I've said before, these are beta tests for these models, and this one showed a clear tendency to tip stall. So Lewis went back and changed the washout on these tips. This is a fairly high aspect ratio little model, so he changed and made a little bit more washout. So the next version, which will be coming along shortly, I've already printed out all the parts. The next version should be even more stable and should show some better low speed characteristics. This one was again a little zippy, although it would slow down. You just had to kind of watch for those tip stalls, and that's what that took me out at the end of that last video. I had another pretty spectacular crash, but once again, all you got to do is print you a new one. Well, guys, thanks for putting up with us so far, and I'll see you again next time. Thank you.